Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show live on the road as we are at the Chicken or the Egg in Melton, New Jersey. Derek Bodner, Kyle Neubeck, I'm Devon Givens. Brianna is here with us producing, and we have a lot to talk about after the Philadelphia 76ers dropped tonight's contest to the Boston Celtics, and it was a close one. Until it wasn't. Final score 117-99. What did they go on, like a 25-6 run or something?
I think it was exactly that.
25-6 run there late in the game to really pull away. And we talked about how they were going to get blown out. And quite honestly, it was closer.
Much better game than I think we all expected.
Than we expected. And we'll talk about all the good things and get into all of that. Again, we're at the Chicken or the Egg here in Melton, New Jersey. Great people here hanging out with us watching the game. Great food. We had some wraps and burgers,
wings,
some chicken
fries.
fingers, wings, fries, everything. And it was all really good. I want to tell you about a couple of things that they do have going on. First, I'll just tell you about the St. Patrick's Day Weekend Bash already. Right? Getting you ready for the St. Patrick's Day Weekend Bash, all-day drink specials, $6 Guinness that you can take advantage of, $7 green tea shots, $8 Jameson drinks.
They got great merch that we're rocking. Derek's got a hat. We got hoodies.
Friday DJ, Saturday live band, Sunday DJ. Just go check it out, let'scheg.com. And again, this show here tonight, the postgame show, is presented by the Chicken or the Egg here in Melton, New Jersey. Kyle, I'll start with you, man. As you said, the game was much closer than the score would indicate, and part of it is because of the face of the splash photo of our show.
I was going to say, certainly not the face of the franchise,
no.
So I don't know where you're going with that.
Yes, the splash photo for our lead into the show, and that is one Sabotage, Tobias Harris. Let me give you his numbers. 23 minutes and 30 seconds as a starter tonight. He was 4 for 15, 1 for 4 from beyond, 1 turnover. And
that's not
no.
box.
He's 5 for 19.
He's 5 for 19.
Yeah.
13 points.
No, hold up. I just want everyone to know what Devon did. He pulled up the third quarter box that we get emailed to us, thought it was the end of the game.
Well, it says
That's
final
fine.
right here.
Look, I'm just saying.
It says final. Yeah, it says final, and it only gave me up to the 9-minute mark.
He's a minus 20.
He's a minus 20. That's how bad Tobias was tonight. Yes, he was bad.
So we should be past the point where a bad Tobias performance surprises us, right? Like, we've been with this guy, covering him. The fans have been watching him. People have been cheering, booing, whatever for 5 years now. And at a certain point, it's like, well, we're the idiots for being surprised. But I still come into every game thinking, look, this guy has the mechanical skill to be better than he is, right? Like, he is not as bad as he has shown. But unfortunately, when you turn in bad game after bad game after bad game after bad game, that is who you are as a player. Like, to some extent, this is just who Tobias Harris is. It's not to say that he's always bad, right? Like, he's got his peaks as well as his valleys. I think earlier this season we saw a better Tobias Harris. But when you're only able to be good and close to that guy, when you can play off a Joel Embiid, who was on his way to being a back-to-back MVP this year, you're not very good in the first place. Like, if you look at how this game unfolded, you could make an easy case that he was the number one reason that they lost that game.
Yes.
When Tobias came out of the game, they went on runs, right? They played coherent offense. There was movement. There was activity. Frankly, there was just confidence shown by these guys, right? Like, a guy like Ricky Council IV.
Go get him, Rick.
Go get him, Rick.
Two-way contract player. Should basically he has no confidence to speak of based on what his resume is.
Yes.
But he walks in the door every day saying, I can go out there, I can impact the game. I can defend Jason Tatum. I can attack Kristaps Porzingis on an island. A guy like Payne was traded here and basically knew from the second he was traded, I'm keeping a seat warm for Kyle Lowry, right? Like, Daryl Morey telegraphed why they made the move, when they made the move, to swap him and Beverly, included a second-round pick. And Payne, all he's done since he's gotten here, yes, he's had some bad games. He steps out on that floor every night and says, I believe in myself. I will take a contested three. I will keep attacking even when it's going poorly for me. You know what Tobias Harris does? Not that. The exact opposite of that. He doesn't look like he's sure of absolutely anything that he's doing right now. He had a bad pass turnover in the first half that the three of us, as well as our friends who were here at the bar watching, just like threw our hands up. I'm saying, what the F are you doing? We're on the road. I'm not trying to drop too many F-bombs, everybody. So if anyone was expecting,
do that for you.
Listen, I was dropping F-bombs so we're not on the air. So if you want to drop an F-bomb in the chat, please do it for your boy. It's just infuriating to see a guy who, whatever you think of him, he is more talented than this. We have seen that. He is capable of more. And he seems to be the least certain of any person in the world that that's the case. Mm-hmm. And so every time he came back into the game, it just felt like, it's a matter of time before the game starts going the other way. I thought the most telling thing, and look, there are people who wanted Tobias benched entirely, right? Like
weeks ago,
sit his butt down the entire second half. One of the most telling things that happened, 3 or 4 minutes into that second half, Nurse sat him down. He pulled him at the same time as Paul Reed and said, Nico Batum, Mo Bamba, you're in.
Yep.
Tobias Harris, you're on the bench with Paul Reed. And he sat him for like 6 consecutive minutes in the middle of the third quarter when the game is, to some extent, hanging in the balance. He is not somebody the fan base trusts. He's not somebody I trust or you guys trust. And frankly, at this point, it doesn't look like he's one of the guys that Nick Nurse actually trusts to help win games. And that is a really giant indictment on what he's offering right now.
Sitting there and watching this, as you talked about watching it with some of the people here, and we all just throwing our hands up on a few of those plays there. It's just at this point with him, and he has good looks, and he had a couple of good shot opportunities there, and it was. Forget about the over-under thing that we talked about with our best bet earlier in the game. It was more
Derek, we were saying Derek was degenerate Derek over here, hoping to win a drink off of Devon after the game.
But it was just more of, hey, once we realized that they were playing much better than we anticipated and expected, once this game got going, you saw what they were doing, and we were looking at saying, okay, they actually have a chance to, at least through the first 24 minutes, play well. Go into the locker room. Make some adjustments that you need to keep that momentum going. And as you are doing that, come out there and execute, because you know you're going to start that third quarter. And you leave all of that in the first half. You leave that behind because what you're doing now is, hey, we still have a chance. It's 0-0.
Yes.
Because it's 53-51, Boston at the half, and you still have an opportunity to win this basketball game on the road and go out there and do that. Just execute. But what happens? He comes out there and he stinks it up. And Nick Nurse takes him out the game with about 8 minutes to go, as you said, with Paul Reed. He brings in the rest of the guys, and they turn it up once again.
Yes.
They keep it going. They're playing small. Nick Batum comes in, and I don't even think it was Ricky at that early at that point of the game. Might have been it was someone else. But they were playing much, much better as a result. And as we are sitting here watching it and we're discussing it, one of the things that I said to the guys, folks, as you're watching now, and I'm sure you were saying it at home, was this. Nick Nurse is going to show me a lot with how he decides to go. And for the most part, he did a fantastic job, I thought, with his rotations overall. But then, because he is Tobias Harris, Derek, and he has to give him an opportunity and try not to have him lose all of that trust that he has in his own self, he has to bring him back into the basketball game. And I'm not blaming Nick Nurse overall. It's just more of an indictment on what Tobias Harris has now become, that Nick Nurse just simply, I got to get this guy going. I have to find a way. We're in this game. The ball is moving. We're sharing the basketball. He's going to get going at some point. He did not. You know what he got going? Miss after miss after miss after miss. And when the Boston Celtics were on their run and extending their lead, Tobias Harris was the one that the ball kept swinging to stop the bleeding as they were going on their 16-0 run that started from the third quarter into the fourth quarter. He had a chance. But you know what they were doing? You said it was a PJ Tucker treatment. They were leaving him open, folks. They were daring him to shoot.
Over and over and over again.
Missing and missing again. This is exhausting now to talk about him the way that we are. But it's him. He's doing this. He's getting these minutes, and he's coming out there and he's stinking it up, and this is really, really bad, man.
Yeah. And I think what really frustrates me, it's one thing for the shot not to be there. It's another thing for the layups not to be there, which I can't believe we're saying about an NBA player at 6'8", but here we are. We all know who he is. His defense was trash. His passing was lazy. His rebounding was non-existent.
Dude, that sequence in the fourth quarter that Porzingis got the dunk on.
My
God.
think Kyle was not you, Kyle. Well, you too. But Kyle Lowry looked like he was upset with them.
I was also upset.
He ended up with 0 defensive rebounds.
Attempt to rebound, man.
Gosh darn. I'm doing my best not to curse here. We are on remote. In 30 gosh darn minutes, he didn't come up with a single defensive rebound on a night when Boston collected 9 offensive rebounds on only like 40 missed shots. Not even 40 missed shots. That effort was pathetic. And it's, like I said, it's one thing to go through a slump. He's going to have games where he shoots 2 for 7. Frankly, I love the fact that he shot 7 threes because a lot of times it doesn't happen. To Kyle's point, a lot of that is because Boston was running away from him. But fine, he took it. It didn't go in. I can live with that. Like I said, I've even talked myself into being able to live with the missed layups. But quite frankly, the only impact Tobias Harris had on a team's offense is when he got Boston out on the break, because after those layups, and Kelly too a little bit, Boston was gone, and they were taking off, and they were getting good looks. But man, at least give us some defense, give us some rebounding. Don't be a dumbass with your passes. Give us something.
Ricky Council came off the bench and got 4 rebounds tonight in 19 minutes, 10 minutes less than Tobias Harris. But what does he do? He crashes the glass,
goddamn ball,
and he goes up there with a purpose to get that rebound. And then on that one, two hands, and then on that sequence that we were sitting there, just like, move, man, move.
The basketball.
The smaller
Go
guys
and get it.
are attacking and trying to make these plays. Payne was the one knocking the ball out. Kyle Lowry knocking the ball out to free it up, to make them take the tough shots. You're the 6'9" guy there. Move your body. Go get the rebound. And he would not move, man.
That's the crazy, because like even Mo Bamba, who we crush Mo Bamba on the show, right? I watched him tonight go up and get a one-handed rebound, tuck it
with the other
fouled. And Tobias Harris can't get one defensive rebound. You can't go up with 2 hands one time and just go, that's my ball. That's disgraceful, dude. That's like, rebounding is the one that always gets me, because like, look, there are going to be defensive matchups you're just drawing dead against, right? You're going to have bad shooting nights. To Derek's point, I'd rather see Tobias go 2 for 7 than 1 for 2. I will always take that. I'll take the volume. What I cannot stand is a bunch of guys, and Tobias was the biggest culprit tonight, just standing around thinking that divine intervention is going to bring a rebound to them. That's unacceptable. That's not how you play basketball. I don't care if you're the last guy on the roster, if you're a $40 million player, a permanent starter somehow, despite the fact that he's got a better case to get moved to the bench than basically any other guy that's been a normal rotation player lately. You got to go and want the goddamn basketball. I'm
and he
tired
did
of
for
watching
the last couple of games.
Yes.
He had 8 rebounds against Milwaukee. He had 9 in the win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. What gives here tonight?
Yeah.
What gives? But you talked about it before. When one thing goes wrong for him, it affects everything else that he does or tries to do.
And, we've got someone in the chat asking whether or not we think the struggle's mental. It always is. And by mental, I just mean like confidence, crisis of confidence, whatever have you. I don't mean anything beyond that. But yeah, of course it's mental. He gets so far inside his head, and he gets timid because of it. And it's 100%. That's why I do think, and there's going to be a lot of people calling for Tobias to be benched, not just out of the starting lineup, but like, don't freaking
entirely,
play him.
yeah.
That's
rotation.
not going to happen, because
Right.
at some point, if you're going to steal games, you need him to play well. It's not going to happen because he's paid a lot of money and he has a lot of stature in the league and yada, yada, yada. But they need him they desperately need to find a way for him to impact winning. And without that, they're just going to be undermanned a lot. But to Kyle's point, how in the heck can you trust him at this? You can't.
Hell is
There's
fine.
No way.
That's
this is a completely.
10 o'clock at night.
I'm just saying I'm trying and I failed. That's all. But this is, look, Tobias has always been frustrating, and especially at this time of year, especially in the second round of playoffs, he gets very, very frustrating because he turtles up like that. But this is completely different than in years past. This is a whole new level of turtling that we've never seen
And
before.
you even made yesterday. You made another great point that, all right, for the team, which he always is, right? He's coming out here and he's trying to get these numbers to help the team win, especially right now with Joel Embiid out. You're supposed to be the number 2 option. But in this case, he's also going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Do you feel like the last
People keep
4
saying
years?
like the Sixers have the only guy in a contract year who doesn't understand the concept of a contract year. Like what's going on?
Oh man,
What's going on, man?
I guess he
Everybody
just
else
expects
has
to get
access to the
25
same
million.
tape.
Play well and you get
That's
a good
what I mean.
contract. Yes.
Doesn't have to be here. Somebody will give you good money.
Oh, man. Well, listen, we have a lot to talk about. Some good things also in this loss. That was the really bad of it. Kyle did not have to do because we were on the road. No need for Kyle to do the recap, the good, the bad, the ugly. Which one was that? Tobias Harris
was in the ugly.
He was in the ugly.
There's a lot of good. We'll get to that in a moment.
But he was in the ugly. I'll tell you what's not ugly and what's good all the time, and that is this great place that we are currently broadcasting from, the Chicken or the Egg here in Marlton, New Jersey. This is our second time here at this great establishment, and it's a really, really cool spot. Great lighting in here overall. The feel is great. Outside, as I pulled up, I saw the outside light. We were talking about it before. What's it going to look like in the evening when we're here? It's dope out there. Unfortunately, it was raining, so we couldn't do anything out there tonight, but I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to do so in the future with the beer garden that really opens up sometime in March in the spring. So we hope that we are able to take advantage of that here as well. We were here for our trade deadline watch party earlier in the month, and that was a great time. This place is widely known also, not just the Chicken or the Egg, is the Chegg. Yes, open 7 days a week for eat-in, takeout, and catering pickup. Chegg's huge menu, sports something for everyone, right? They have a huge menu, sports, everything for all of you to come and take advantage of this great place. A lot of places talk a good buffalo wing game, but the Chegg truly delivers. So much so that I even got an order to go after enjoying some food here while we were here. Yes, and the wings are big, nice size, juicy, right? Available in 18 sauces, either breaded or naked. Live music on weekends. We had music while we were here, but that was more over top of everything here with the speaker, not the live music, but you can get that on the weekends. The beer garden, again, opens up in the spring. The Chegg in Marlton is not just a restaurant, it's a destination. It's been a destination for us twice so far. Cannot wait to come back. We need you here too. Chegg in Marlton, New Jersey. 121 Route 70 East in Marlton, New Jersey. The Chegg LBI, yes, Long Beach Island, 207 North Bay Avenue in Beach Haven, New Jersey. Make sure to be on the lookout for more watch parties and live shows from the Chegg or Chegg, or as you want to call it, Chicken or the Egg, locations in the near future. Stop in and say hello.
It's a pro move by you. Every time we get out of a show, you're like, man, I'm freaking dying, man. I need some food. Ordering that to go? I'm impressed, buddy. We also want to make sure we tell you about Empire Today. If it's time to get some upgrades done to your home with some new carpeting, Empire Today's got you covered. With Empire Today, you get shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring, so of course they have copycats. But they can't beat Empire Today on quality, service, or speed, so they advertise low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. Empire Today won't promise you the lowest prices, because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. Empire Today keeps shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. Their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. What they leave out of their selection is as important as what they put in. Empire's product team exhaustively combs through thousands of product samples each year to find the perfect styles. With Empire Today's Virtual Floor Designer, it's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. Shopping for floors at a big box store can be frustrating. You might talk to someone today who was working in plumbing yesterday. Flooring is all Empire Today does. They live and breathe flooring, so you can be confident you're getting honest, upfront advice. They also service their own warranties. With Empire Today, you won't have to track down a manufacturer's phone number. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHLY. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/PHLY for details.
And make sure, again, when you come check out the Chicken or the Egg, or the Chegg, as you like to call it, the sauces here that we talked about, the 18 different sauces. Some of those are on sale. You see a few here on the table behind us as well. A bunch of them. Look how they look on the screen too, Kyle. Just all lined up.
Beautiful.
The way that they're lined
Beautiful.
up. Go ahead and try out the different sauces. What was the one that you had earlier?
I had the killer bee sting, and
Killer
it was
bee
the
sting.
perfect amount of spice with the honey, and love that combination.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Kyle allowed me to try it out, and it was really good. And if you are out and about on Easter, the end of the month, wearing your Easter best, come on out to the Chegg Sunday, March 31st, Easter Sunday, for a brunch buffet here in Marlton. Seatings beginning at 8:30, 11:30, and 2:30. So again, 8:30, 11:30, and 2:30 for some seating here. Brunch buffet, Easter Sunday, March 31st. That's the Sunday, of course, for Easter. And make sure you wear your Sunday's best, and then treat somebody to some of the, the merchandise that we have on here. I have the white Chegg hoodie. You have the black Chegg hoodie.
So I'm not trying to be
Derek has the hat.
sacrilegious over here, but you know who has not risen, unlike Christ on Easter? D'Anthony Melton. Because there's news after the game from Gina Mizell, who's up in Boston covering the game, said that Nick Nurse acknowledged there is concern about D'Anthony Melton's back, which the coach described as the same issue that has kept Melton out for more than a month. So if we're going to stay on the negative front for a moment before we get to, I think there was a lot of positive in this game, which we will talk about at some point.
This is a sort of wild game where I almost came away feeling more confident in the team, but more frustrated almost entirely because of one or two individuals.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So the Melton piece is important, right? Because something that we cautioned against, as we said, hey, they're going to get guys back healthy. D'Anthony's almost back. He's a big piece of the rotation, all that. Back injuries are super tricky. They delayed his return about as long as they could.
Yeah.
And have now only got, what'd they get?
Two games.
Two and a
Three
half.
games. Yeah.
2.5 games out of him before he had to be pulled entirely. And it's connected to that same issue.
Did you even see any play that looked like it caused it?
I personally did not. I would have to go back and see
If anybody
what
in
the
the chat
timing
noticed
was.
it, drop it in there, because I honestly did not see what it would have been.
So for Melton, I would say it's safe to say now he's going to be a question mark for the rest of the season.
Correct.
Like
Yep.
there is no point, even if he comes back in sometime in March, whenever it might be, and he gets a couple weeks in a row of, okay, he's playing consistent basketball. There's just no faith I have that he's going to be able to string time together and stay healthy when it matters. Like he had a back issue all of last year, and even if the team is saying this one's different, well, now he's missed a month and a half, a month and a week, whatever it is, of time, and is going to miss more time. He's in a bad spot, dude, and he is a real, very underrated connective piece for this team where defensively he can tie some things together. He's one of their better shooters. You can use him as a movement guy, as a pull-up guy, as a secondary ball handler. So to lose him is a huge deal. If he is not right the rest of this year, I'm not saying that fundamentally changes their playoff ceiling or anything like that, but it's a difference maker. He's a very good player when he's at his best. Saw it over the weekend. He was one of the few guys who actually played well against Milwaukee. If they had gotten that guy tonight, they might have been able to win that game and sit Tobias on the bench because D'Anthony's just rolling. So I don't know. I'm in panic mode over him right now. I don't know if you guys are there yet.
The back thing can flare up at any time, just like we just saw it.
The chat is saying that he landed on his back. I missed that play.
Okay.
We were here at the bar. I guess I missed it.
Yeah, so again, the back thing can flare up at any time, like it did last season for him to miss so many games, for it to happen so this season, and now after only 2.5 games here, flaring up. This is going to be the rest of his season. This is how he's going to have to operate. This is how they're going to have to operate. So now, after seeing Campaign play the way that he did tonight, and playing overall since he has been in the Sixers uniform, Kyle Lowry being back as well, now they're even more important because you cannot count on him to just be available.
Yeah.
And that's where that's going to come into play. Maybe even the Ricky minutes and the KJ Martin minutes when he comes back, those are going to be important because of D'Anthony Melton being out. But you saw it in those 2.5 games of what he can do that's a positive for this basketball team. And now that this is going to be a day-by-day, game-by-game thing, this is going to be a problem for them.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when people would ask us, like, hey, are you concerned about it? Of course I'm concerned about it. It's a back.
It's a back.
Like, weird things happen. You can't, like, we can be fine one day, just stand up or land incorrectly or twist or any number of things. And next thing you know, you have no confidence he's going to be here long term. That is a huge loss. If it is a loss, who knows what it means. But if it is a loss, it would be huge. Let me phrase it that way. His shooting, his defense, I thought he was playing real good defensively. And just getting forcing a turnover and getting them out in a break is so important for this team to try to steal a win. That would be big.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, you brought up Lowry and Payne, and, like, Payne had a very good game tonight. Lowry less so, but you can at least see the outline of, like, what he brings to the table. Those guys, in theory, are players who should be, like, hot hand type guys, right?
Yes.
Like, Payne, if he comes in and he shoots like he did in the second half tonight, keep riding him. Let him go. Like, let him impact the game as a scorer. When he's not, you pull him. Unfortunately, you can only have so many guys get injured and have so many guys removed from the lineup before it becomes, hey, you got to play Payne. He's got to get his minutes, and he's got to play and give you 20 to 25 good minutes. Like, they don't have – this is one of the reasons that, not to bring everything back to Tobias, it's one of the reasons that having that guy on a $40 million contract is so harmful, because on a normal $40 million player, a guy who you'd expect to be a top 3 player on a hopeful contender,
Paul George,
whoever it might, I mean, that'd be
as
a high-end example, but
right.
that'd be a great example. That's a guy that, with Joel Embiid out and Tyrese Maxey is your number one, you're giving him the ball. He's giving you 20, 25, whatever it is on a given night. You're running the offense through him at the very least, instead of Tobias being a passenger. Or like even tonight, most of his shots are shots that are being creative for him. There's a lot of stuff, the open catch and shoot threes, this stuff around the basket, that he's not having to do anything except cut and move into the right spaces, and Maxey's creating, and Lowry's creating, and it's being put on a platter for this guy, and he still can't do anything with it. So normally, it wouldn't be as dire if Payne's not playing well, or Kyle Lowry's not playing well, or Ricky Council can't give you something, or KJ Martin's hurt, or whatever it is. But as you take pieces away,
Yep.
it just becomes more glaring that $40 million of your cap and a huge allotment of minutes every night, no matter how he's playing, is being given to a guy who cannot fulfill that role.
Well, and think of it like 2 years ago when you had $70 million to 2 guys in Tobias and Ben who the other team actively didn't guard at times. And then there's people like our boy Vince. We'll wave to Vince. He's not even looking at us. That's fine.
Nor is he listening.
No, he's not. That's fine. It's only the company. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. Who will get on Joel for, he's never elevated his play. Well, how about the guys that you're giving a huge sum of money to actually make an impact on your team offensively, actually have to be guarded for long stretches of the game? How about you do that, and then we can evaluate how much of a playoff performer Joel Embiid is.
Let's run off the numbers again. 5 for 19 in 29 minutes tonight. 13 points, 2 rebounds, 2 for 7 from beyond. 2 of those threes, Derek, when you were trying to get that over-under of 16 and a half.
So close.
That's why you wanted him to make those shots.
Of course.
Yes.
I wanted him there in the end in garbage time, too.
Well, also, before we get to the good, is one more quickly here. Not quickly, because we are going to have to spend some time on him and discuss the play as of late, which is Buddy Hield just 2 for 8. He had his first 2 shots, some really good looks, and I said, Buddy this might be one of those, hey, Buddy's going to have a night tonight, and maybe you don't have to worry about what Tobias Harris does or doesn't do.
Wrong.
Right. But 2 for 8, he gets half of what Tobias Harris shot tonight and played about the same amount of minutes with 29-16 for Buddy Hield. He was 2 for 7 from 3, 4 personal fouls. He had 4 assists and just 2 rebounds. We've talked about maybe having to find a way to get him going again. Maybe with Tobias Harris coming back has kind of taken him out of his rhythm. That's an excuse, but they have to find a way to get him going again, especially if Tobias Harris is playing this way.
So the possessions that they used tonight to try to get Tobias going, I would use them on Buddy. Like, straight up, I just don't think it's worth chasing better Tobias. Like, if he happens to have a good game, fine. but there was a possession. I think it was in the third quarter. Maybe it was in the first half. All blended together for me. They came out of a timeout after Boston had gone on a run, and they ran a design post up for Tobias Harris. Yep. And then they wasted most of the clock. He wasted the rest of it. And with 2 seconds on the clock, he throws a hot potato to Buddy and says, "Hey, MFer, you deal with it."
Who was fading to his left as he shot it.
And this was exactly, Devon and I had a show yesterday, or 2 days, when was it?
Yesterday.
They all jumbled together.
Yeah,
the last show that we did, I can't remember if I had a show yesterday. That's where I'm at right now. We had a show, basically, and the start of it was, well, what can Nick Nurse do to get Tobias going? And it was like, yeah, maybe you put him into pick and rolls like he did back in his Clippers days.
Give him a brain transplant.
But if you do that, you run the risk of just dribble, jab step, dribble, and all of a sudden you look up in 7 seconds or off the shot clock and he's got to throw a grenade to somebody else. That was almost literally what came out of my mouth, yesterday. And today we saw that. They ran a design post up for him. It got nowhere. He threw a time bomb to Buddy, was it?
Yes, it was.
And it's like, if you do that over and over and over again, that's pretty shitty offense. And I don't know whether or not you ask him to do less, and then he becomes a role player, but then he doesn't want to shoot threes, and he still can't pass, and he doesn't really play consistent team defense, or you can't really design sets for him because he's going to run time off the shot clock, and he's not a good passer, and it's like there's no really good answer, and he's making $40 million. It's beyond frustrating.
Well, listen, guys, if you want to see that $40 million player stink it up, but more realistically, if you want to see Tyrese Maxey, who we will get to in a second, then you need to use the Game Time app, because, guys, buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful, and Game Time's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the events that you want to go to, whether that's sports, music, comedy, or theater near you. You know what I got recently? A pair of tickets to go see Liverpool play Arsenal at the Link. July 31st, my beloved Liverpool Football Club. So I will be going to see
your town.
The other football, the original football in the American Football Stadium. Just not to confuse anybody. But if you want to wait until the last minute for your ticket deals, Game Time will help you out. You don't have to plan in advance like I did, because Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for all kinds of events outside of sports as well. I always keep saying, I'm going to drag these guys to some kind of special show and around the holidays or something next year, do a little team bonding. And here's the best part, guys. The Game Time guarantee means you always get the best price. You find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. I love that very much. And by the way, you can get images of your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive or before you arrive to go see whatever event you're headed to. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
And maybe you want to attend the game with Kyle in the summer in July at the Link, but you want to represent PHLY because you like our show, you like what we're doing here with all of our shows, the community that we're building and representing on a warm night in Philadelphia at the stadium. Well, you can go to PHLYlocker.com right now, because you have about a good or just over 24 hours remaining. We have a sale going on. PHLYlocker.com. You can go and check out the merchandise.
Derek's got some merch on.
Derek has
a
PHLY hoodie on. Guess what? You can get this same hoodie for 30% off. So go ahead, check it out. PHLYlocker.com. That's through Wednesday. So
Devon's got the nice dad hat.
I've got the dad hat going on.
If it can make this face look good, imagine what it can do for you.
Look at this guy. Look at that. But look, now through tomorrow night, make sure you go 30% off PHLYlocker.com. T-shirts, hoodies, hats that we have available to you. You've seen us wear them on all of our shows across the entire family here. Make sure you go get yours. Get some gifts for somebody. Birthday coming up, and you say, oh, he might like that shirt right there, that red one, or that powder blue one that looks like the Phillies color. Go get it, PHLYlocker.com. 30% off now through Wednesday night, 11:59 p.m. Go get yours right now, PHLYlocker.com. 30% off everything. Everything. All right.
I think it's time to get to Tyrese Maxey.
He has a shirt on our PHLY website.
He does.
He does have a shirt.
Yes, he does.
Because he's on fire.
One quick thing before we get to Tyrese.
Yes.
Even though that was a hell of a transition, and I really apologize for interrupting.
You're good.
Kelly Oubre really needs to send Tobias Harris a gift basket because we have not talked about him almost at all.
Wow,
and
we
he
haven't
was
got to anything good.
horrible. That being said, I was a little surprised by the starting lineup change because Nick Nurse came out yesterday and was talking about like, oh, they've really got to move the ball better. He's got to, one of his real pet peeves are bad quick shots that turn into transition opportunities for the other team. And then he came out and he started a starting lineup that included Kelly Oubre, Paul Reed, and Tobias Harris, 3 complete ball stoppers. And I thought we saw that early where they just took bad shots, quick layups, and it turned into quick transition points for Boston. That's too much. Look, and Nick Batum looks slow as hell right now. Just absolute slow as hell. I just don't like having all 3 of them on the court at the same time.
All right, I'm not talking about Kelly. I'm sick of talking about how much I dislike him.
I did see one pop up though. Chat. Bree just had it on the screen. Paul Kennedy says, y'all really named this one Sabotage with 2 laughing emojis.
I mean, listen,
that's
what
Paul.
I saw. It is what it is.
To be fair, we tried to name that the title, and then I went, wait a minute. I remember using that headline before, and I went back and we didn't want to duplicate the headline.
That's a damn shame.
Sabotage was going to be in the headline, but it didn't happen only because we've done that before.
Okay,
right,
so
let's get to it.
I want to be positive.
Positive.
I think that's...
I'm positive that Tobias Harris stank.
If it's not the best two-way game of Tyrese Maxey's career, it is very close because everyone sees the offense, right? Or we expect the offense. We know that he's a capable number 2 next to Joel. At times, he can masquerade as a number 1. Like, the stuff he did offensively was great, and it's meaningful because it's against Boston, who in recent history, let alone throughout his whole career, they've given him fits. He's had struggles. To see him play well offensively and score and be efficient, that's great. Watching him take the challenge on defense against Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and draw charges and strip guys and go the other way with the ball, that's some of the best stuff that we have seen from this team, period, since Joel Embiid went down.
Yes.
I said it after the postgame show the other night. I brought it up on the pregame today that I thought his defense lately in terms of the engagement and the effort has been good. His stunning and recovering, that kind of stuff. But this is something different. This is Tyrese Maxey, who we always say, like, it's a shame he's not a little taller. He could be more of a off guard, a hybrid, whatever. To see him take the challenge against true wings, like elite level wing and Jason Tatum, guy like Jaylen Brown,
he plucked
on a
him
Supermax.
Twice.
That was awesome. And that's a great example of what we were talking about earlier with Tobias, with the rebounding and defense. Like,
effort.
So much of this is just about effort, dude. It's not much more than that. That is Tyrese being locked in mentally. That's him caring about how he can impact the game on that end of the floor. It doesn't take a whole lot. He's got all kinds of disadvantages against those guys. Commitment to the craft is what it takes. So that's the part I think Tyrese should be super proud of.
And during the game, I was telling the guys, everybody who's watching in the chat, that I had saw something where Ron Artest, who is a former Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA, saying Tyrese Maxey, number 1, I thought he was bigger than he was. He said he met him at the All-Star game, and he thought he was a little bit bigger than he was. And he said, this guy can play defense, and not a lot of people were talking about it, but Kyle was. Because of what you saw, how his mentality changed. You and Ron Artest, the only
birds
two
of
to
a
know
feather
it.
flock together.
No
obviously.
question about it. Well, just don't tear up the stands, man. but for him to recognize that and say that about him,
is very cool.
To not be known for his defense was cool to hear that. The other part in this game, after he plucked Jaylen Brown twice, the other part that we were talking about is how chirpy he was in this game too with Jaylen Brown. It was really about Jaylen Brown, and he was getting after him. We don't know where it came from. Maybe it was the All-Star game, and they were freezing. He was freezing him out in that game potentially with how things were going in that, and looking for Jason Tatum and maybe some of the others because he was a first-time participant as a first-time All-Star. Whatever it was, I loved seeing that from Tyrese Maxey. James Harden used to say that all the time. Remember when he said Tyrese Maxey is the nicest dude ever? I want him sometimes to just let it go and just unleash and be an a-hole out there on the floor, and he was tonight, and it did not affect his play whatsoever. It upped his play a level that we hadn't seen in a while from him with this two-way play.
Yeah. And to the point, like Kyle mentioned, even forgetting the offense, and I agree. I tweeted out earlier in the game, it might be the best defensive performance of Tyrese Maxey's career. That being said, the offense was spectacular.
It was very good.
And
Yes,
the kind
it
of
was.
thing, like when you go up against a team that in the past had caused him troubles, is the number one defense in the league. At home, they're even better. And to go up there and keep them in the game like that, it was really inspiring stuff. And like this is a moment where you're watching Tyrese Maxey grow. I know there's a lot of people who are always not a number one or, he needs to create more, and there are valid concerns and criticisms there. But if he's your number one, you're not winning anything anyway. What you need him to do is step in or grow into the role where he can maybe not carry them every night, but in certain situations when you need
stretches.
it. Yeah. And he showed you tonight in maybe the most difficult environment possible that he has that kind of potential in him. And it's a very encouraging sign for when they get Joel Embiid back that he has this in him. This was a tough matchup, like I said, against a tough team in a tough environment where pretty much everything revolved around him, and he came through.
32 points tonight to lead all scorers. 12 for 24, so he shot 50% from the field, and we all saw the defense that was coming his way. He didn't care. It didn't matter who was in front of him. He was going after him. He ran by Porzingis. He ran by Al Horford, as he should. And the same for those wings who started out on him when he had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday and Derek White, all of them coming after him. And I thought the other part, too, that I thought was interesting very early was Nick Nurse started him on Jason Tatum on the defensive end. And he was engaged
and
right
first
away.
Possession, Tatum scored on him and look, went at him. But Tyrese more than held his own. And if we're talking about what it's going to take in the playoffs, this level of defense from Tyrese is not what it's going to take. They just need above average or competent defense for him. So to see him locked in is all I really care about. And Derek got on the offensive tangent for a little bit. There are probably 3 or 4 assists left on the table there.
Oh, my God,
on plays great drive, collapse the defense, and kick to
3 to Tobias Harris.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
Another example of how annoying Tobias Harris's game was tonight. But
Maxey ended up with 5. He should have probably had double-digit assists.
So, and that's why assists are overvalued, right? That doesn't show the pressure that he put on them at the point of attack and at the rim by getting there and then freeing other guys up. If he had good shooters or a good shooting performance from the team overall tonight, people will be marveling. Oh, wow, look at the box score. I don't care. I'm judging the process behind it and the growth that he's shown. So for him to be able to Derek's point, I don't care if he's good enough to be a number one because the team is not built for him to be a number one. It's built for him to be a number two. He has been an elite number two this year when Joel Embiid has been healthy, made the All-Star team for good reason. And to see him able to put in this level of game without Joel Embiid against this specific team, that tells me everything I need to know. They're in good hands with him and Joel healthy. As long as Joel comes back this season, they're going to have a puncher's chance with those two. I truly believe that.
All right. Can we talk about another positive? Because my buddy, the fake guy's in the chat. It's time, Derek. It's time. Because he was good.
Ricky!
Go get him, Rick!
There were at least 5 of those throughout the course of the game in the bar.
Devon and I were
legit.
high-fiving, all kinds of
They were legit. And look, he had 10 points in the fourth quarter, but 2 of them really came down the stretch 4 came down the stretch when it didn't matter. A pair of free throws and another layup that he had an opportunity there to finish. But for the most part, his minutes were meaningful tonight when the game was still up in the air, when they were still in it. Quite frankly, he played some good minutes when Tobias Harris was off the floor. He was on the floor with the rest of the guys, and he composed himself again really, really well out there with the rest of them. The only thing I saw early on, one of the very first plays that defensively, defending Al Horford. Al Horford is going to get a young guy with this. The ball fake behind the three-point line, and he bit on it. And as he bit on it, Al Horford drove to the basket, and he finished. And after that, I'm sure they told him, hey, this is Kyle Lowry. As a matter of fact, it was caught on the screen. He went up to him, and he was talking to him. That had to be precisely what he was talking to him about. Watch the ball fake because that's what this guy's been doing for 15 years. Everybody has gone for it, so don't feel bad about yourself. Just now know that that's what happens. The guy played really well again tonight, and he finished with 16 points off the bench. He was 6 for 8 from the floor, and he got to the free throw line once again. He had a couple of and ones that we saw there. I mean, we try not to overreact to it, and we talk about maybe him getting that contract.
He looks good.
The guy looks like he belongs in the rotation. Again, the game will tell how many minutes, but he belongs without hesitation. Nick Nurse should call his number for a game.
Yeah, and that's what we said coming in. If you didn't listen to our pregame show, throw him out there.
Shame on you, first of all.
Shame on you. We definitely want to
Shame.
shame our listeners. That is absolutely what we want to do. But we said, throw him out there. He's one of the few people that can compete physically against the squad. See if he has it going. And to Nick Nurse's credit, he did. And not only did he throw him out there, but he kept him in there for a good chunk of time. And the Sixers were a +7 in his 19 minutes of play. I don't think that was 100% by accident. He was very good. And some of those dunks, oh boy.
Al said it here, and he said that nasty dunk in that minute, man. We said he was going to get one in the game. It didn't matter what the opposing team had on the floor. He made a great cut, and he made a great cut. He got the ball, and he pulled that thing back, and boom. Go get him, Rick.
Look, here's the thing, man. I just think he represents so much of what they don't have elsewhere. Like, if you're talking
100%.
about the anti-Tobias,
Yeah.
Ricky goes and gets the ball on a rebound, 2 hands on the ball. Talking about him as a driver, he is going right at somebody's chest, lowering that shoulder, and he's going to come out as the stronger guy and finish. Like, one of the things I loved was just seeing him go right at guys. Hey, Kristaps Porzingis, you look like a strong breeze could carry you away.
Dude.
I'm sticking a shoulder into you, and I'm going to score. That's the mentality you got to play with as a forward, as a wing, as a driver. And so it's just been such a breath of fresh air for him to come in and be a real slasher on a team that, I mean, look, Kelly Oubre, when he can get to his left, can do that stuff. But as Derek was just yelling to himself about in the corner earlier, when Kelly goes right, he's going to get blocked because everyone knows you're going to try to score with your left.
Yep.
And so, look, Ricky, to some extent, when we first started watching him, it's a little bit of a meme. Like,
Sure.
hey, it's a young guy. He's a two-way player. I just want to see something different. He has proven that he should get regular rotation minutes at this point with this group. I don't know who you have to ding. I would love to not watch Kelly Oubre anymore. I would prefer to watch him over KJ, although I think KJ has a different use case.
And has
if you
played
need
well.
to cut into Tobias's minutes,
Yeah.
whatever you got to do, get this kid on the floor because he's making a positive impact and playing with discipline. That's all you can ask for.
The fake Ricky in the chat said, play me. Just simple.
You don't
Play
know
me,
if that's
thank
not
you.
Ricky. You don't know.
Well, you're right, because he is very, very active.
Just like Furkan was in the chat earlier.
Yeah,
We had a T. Harris.
We haven't heard
Yeah.
from him since he left. Yeah,
Yeah.
so come on, Furt, get back in the mix, man. Yeah, man.
Oh,
Mike
that's a pretty
Muscala.
big deal.
Ooh.
Mike Muscala buyout.
Would you?
I would. There's probably not going to be a better option.
And him and Tyrese together on the same team, man. Look at that. Look at it all worked out.
is.
Bring Mike back, right? Bring Mike back. But no, Ricky is just playing at a very, very good level right now, where we feel like maybe he should get some of those minutes, and we'll see what happens in the end. But listen, folks, we have to get out of here, and
I think we might. Do we have any super chats, Bree?
Oh, yeah,
we
we
did.
got a handful.
let's get him.
If you
Let's
just
get
throw them up on the screen, that'd probably be the easiest way because I don't. It's a
Yeah.
lot of scrolling. This is a very loud.
You can only scroll up so
Loud
far.
and
Here we
proud
go.
in the fan base.
We
There
got
you go.
one from Bernard. Bernard says Maxey left it all out there, ran out of gas at the end. Excellent game by Mad Max. I still believe Boston can be beat by a fully healthy Sixers squad, or by a full Sixers squad. He says.
Well,
Listen, they've played them well this year.
they have.
As
They
much
took
as-
one, right,
as-
early in the season.
They took the early one.
Yeah, they took the first
They
one.
had the hospital game up in Boston that they lost, but they competed hard. Now, granted, the team has changed
Pat Beverly.
quite a bit since then. I'm just saying, man. I don't think Bernard is too far off
All right.
on that one.
Fair enough. What do we have next?
What was it? Davon had one that
Yeah,
I
he
just
tried to
missed?
call me out. He says, still don't trust Ricky, Derek. And I'm like, I don't understand where this is coming from. The only thing I've ever said is I think his minutes are going to go down because I don't think Nick
Yeah.
Nurse is going to trust him because he's young and inexperienced. But I think we've all pretty consistently been on the, give him more minutes. I don't think that necessarily means 20 to 25 every night, but I think we've generally been pretty supportive of Ricky here.
That's why we're the unofficial Ricky show.
I know Devon is in here every day because he super chats us. I'm not sure this one is warranted.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one from Baba DJ who asks, if the Sixers re-sign Tobias, it has to be on a negative contract. He has to pay the Sixers back for all the money that he stole. Listen.
Great one, Baba.
I don't think that Terrell Harris and Tobias will agree to that, but, it never hurts to ask, I suppose. You can't get what you don't ask for. So that'd be a real innovation in NBA contracts. So put it that way.
And finally, Fresh Prince says, can the Sixers go after Brandon Ingram in the offseason?
I think it's possible.
Sure.
Yeah, I do think
you can ask.
We'll see what happens with the Pelicans this year. They look like they'll probably be a fringe playoff team. I think right now, last I checked, they were either 6th or 7th in the Western Conference standings. So they're right on the they're actually up to 5th, but there are 1, 2, 3 teams with 24 losses: the Pelicans, Suns, and Kings. Mavericks right behind them. The Warriors a little bit behind them. So they could fall into the play. We'll see what happens with the Pels.
He is owed $36 million next year, for those wondering.
Yeah. So I sort of don't know what their long-term outlook, plan, et cetera, is in New Orleans. I do think they've leaned more into Point Zion, from what I can tell. And if that's going to be the case, Ingram is not necessarily the best off-ball type of guy, I don't think. So that would also pose some complications for a Joel, Maxey, Ingram core. But he's a good scorer, guy you can run the offense through, has improved as a playmaker over the years. Would love the three-point volume to be better.
Yeah,
but,
I feel like we're going to be having that conversation a lot.
But as long as he's not on a long-term contract,
yeah,
I guess you could live with it.
All right, we have to say goodbye, and we appreciate everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We know tough loss to the Celtics here this evening, but they're back at it on Friday. So we are off tomorrow. We are off on Wednesday. We're back Thursday as we get ready for the next game on Friday. So we'll be with you then. We have to thank our host here tonight, the Chicken or the Egg here in Marlton, New Jersey, as always, hosting us. It's been a fantastic time. A lot of great people here tonight for us to hang out and just talk the game with here. We don't get a chance to do this much, but when we do, we love to do so here at the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton. Once again, St. Patrick's Day Weekend Bash, the 15th through the 17th of March. All-day drink specials, a bunch of drinks there. $6 Guinness, $7 green tea shots, and $8 Jameson drinks, $8 car bombs, $12 Shamrock Martinis.
Hey, by the way, never say car bomb in Ireland.
All right.
Really? I know some people who learned that the hard way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Not the smartest move in their life.
But you can say it
we
here.
We can definitely say it here.
At the Chegg, Friday, DJ on that Friday, the 15th, the 16th, Saturday, live band, Sunday, DJ again. And if you want to check out everything on the website, letchegg.com. Check it out there and find out what's going on. One more thing on Easter Sunday, March 31st, brunch buffet at Marlton. Again, seating begins 8:30, and then you have 11:30, 2:30 as well. So make sure you find your way to this great establishment that we enjoy being here with. So we appreciate everybody helping us out here throughout the entirety of the evening as we had pregame, watching the game, and now postgame. We thank everybody. And also, we have a lot of people to thank. Hey, everybody in the chat, thank you. We thank Randy for coming through, hanging out with us
We
here.
talked a lot to Randy tonight. Randy Rhubarb,
thank
regular.
You. We appreciate it, and thanks for everybody else who came in and sat in. Like and subscribe to get in.
Where's the bell?
Here you go. Like and subscribe, and you'll get that sound, that alert, when you do so as you like and subscribe here.
And hit the thumbs up button so I don't have to take as much Dayquil as I did to be able to do these shows today, ladies and gentlemen. It'll make me feel warm in my heart and my soul. Thank you very much. We love y'all. Good night.
For Vince and Chris and Bree and Kyle and Derek, I'm Devon. Have a good night. We'll talk to you on Thursday. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.